This summer, my family and I decided to go to Colorado. As much as I've loved every single day, if I had to choose a favorite, I would have to say it's this one. Since Rocky Mountain National Park is one of the most popular national parks, they try to control the traffic a little bit by requiring every vehicle entering to have a timed entry pass. The parking also fills up really quickly, so if you want a good spot, you have to get there as early as possible. I would say anytime between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. is probably a good time. We were coming from Colorado Springs, which is about a 2.5-hour drive from Rocky Mountain National Park, so we ended up leaving at around 4:45. As you can see, the line was so long, but then we were greeted by the cutest host ever. I'm not even kidding. 2 minutes after arriving, we saw our first deer, and it was the coolest thing ever. We entered through Estes Park, which meant that we used the Beaver Meadows entrance station, and since most of the parking lots were full by that time, we had to go to the Park and Ride, which is basically this big parking lot with lots of parking space, and since it's slightly away from the trailheads, there's a shuttle that comes and picks you up and takes you to whichever trailhead you want to go to, so in the end, it actually doesn't make a difference. The shuttle took us directly to the Bear Lake trailhead where we could start our hike. We wanted to go on the Lake Haiyaha trail, which is a 4-mile round-trip trail, and All Trails calls it a moderately challenging route, but it's so worth it because when we first saw these pictures on Google, we knew we had to see it in person. And on this trail, we were able to see 5 different lakes. We got to see Bear Lake, Nymph Lake, Dream Lake, Emerald Lake, and Lake Haiyaha. Hands down, my favorite sound in the entire world, the sound of flowing water. I also do want to mention, Emerald Lake was not part of the Lake Haiyaha trail, but we just wanted to see as many lakes as possible, so we took this detour. We saw these Colorado chipmunks multiple times throughout the trail. I'm convinced they were actually stalking us. Definitely stop here if you can because you can see Bear Lake from the top as well as somewhat of a 360 view of the whole park. I have to mention this, when we were walking and I first saw this water, it genuinely felt like a hike to Rivendell because there's no way that water this blue is real. It literally looks like food coloring, but it's real. So we are gradually getting closer and closer to the actual lake. We have to go through these rocks. I would say out of the whole trail, these rocks were the hardest part because there's no blueprint to follow. You kind of just step wherever you want to and wherever you can to really get through. But look at the view of this lake. None of these places look real, so honestly this vlog is just evidence that this place actually exists. After that, we headed back to the very start of the trail, which was Bear Lake. Now that we were done with our hikes, we went on Trail Ridge Road, which is a scenic drive where a lot of people say you can see a lot of wildlife, and we certainly saw a couple different animals. Look at how many trees there are. It's crazy how big the park looks from up here. Unsurprisingly, 95% of Rocky Mountain National Park is designated as wilderness. Honestly, there were so many times where we just wanted to turn back because we weren't really seeing any wildlife, but I'm so glad that we kept going because that's how we got to see some really cute deer interactions. Trail Ridge is such a long road. Keep going. I'm sure at some point you will see something. The closer the time is to sunset, the greater the chance you have of actually seeing something. This was so unexpected and unplanned in the best way, but we were kind of sad about not seeing any bears in Rocky Mountain National Park. But when we were driving back, we saw a bear in someone's driveway, and it happened so quickly. I'm so sad I couldn't get it on video, but at first we thought it was just a black dog, and then it moved and we realized it was too big to be a black dog, and turns out it was a black bear cub. It happened so fast, and it was just for 2 seconds. The bear left right away, but it was so cute and so memorable. Today is unfortunately our last day in Colorado, but we have a later flight, so we still have the whole day to kind of do more things. So we have come to Red Rocks Park and Amphitheatre, and I think we might go on some trails, look around, take pictures. But yeah, this is a great way to spend our last day. Lots of concerts happen here, and I was just curious about what is so special about this place, so I looked it up, and I'm just going to quote this. It says that Red Rocks is the only naturally occurring and acoustically perfect amphitheater in the entire world. The Beatles performed here for their first ever American tour, and on top of concerts, they also used to screen movies, including Lord of the Rings. Probably wasn't even born yet. They were playing Lord of the Rings in the amphitheater, so you could have watched all of them. Insane. On one day. I was born though, but whatever. They had different displays of the performers, and by now this probably just looks like a Beatles fan video, but to be honest, I'm okay with that. We actually got the wrong parking lot, so now we have to walk all the way back up. It's bright, sunny, really hot. Now we have to climb up all these stairs. Lesson learned: when you're looking for wildlife, you probably won't find them, but when you least expect it, they'll actually come to you. These 2 mule deer showed up out of nowhere, and they were there for a solid 5 minutes. This is definitely the closest I've ever been to a deer. After seeing those mule deer, we were just so obsessed with seeing wildlife that this part was not planned, but I just searched it up, and there's a place called Rocky Mountain Arsenal, and it's a wildlife refuge. So I love how it's not a zoo, it's an open space for these animals to just run around, and it's like a safari. You can kind of just see them, you drive past them, and we went. It's really close to Denver. We got to see the deer pretty up close. They were right next to our car, and they don't get scared of any of the cars, so they were there for a while. Aside from that, we also just got to see these other deer. They were male deers this time. They were just chilling on the side of the road. We did get to see prairie dogs, and it was funny because they would just pop up out of nowhere, and they also camouflaged so well that it was just hard to spot them. We also got to see this herd of bison, but they like their personal space a little bit more, so we had to keep our distance. That was pretty much the last thing we did that day. We went out for ice cream a little bit later, and I don't know why I look so sad because I promise it was good. It was time to leave, and I was pretty sad about it. This is definitely a candid video of me on the shuttle bus. I had no idea that I was being recorded, and I definitely did not tell my sister to record me. Our flight was delayed, so now we're gonna land in Chicago at 1:32 a.m.-ish, but honestly I don't even mind because I love the airport. I agree. I had a little bit too much fun with our flight being delayed because we went into all these stores, and now that I think about it, going into the bookstore in the airport and just seeing all of those books, that's how I got back into reading that summer. I connected to the United Wi-Fi and got the official United app, so now we can watch a movie. I don't have my AirPods or anything, so we're just gonna have to do this by reading a captions, watching a movie on mute, which should be interesting. So we're trying to figure out a movie. We take really long to choose anything to watch, so I feel like the whole flight is just gonna go in what's so long to have. Spoiler alert, they don't let you play the movie unless you have headphones connected because they're probably smart and they know that some people would blast that out loud. So we didn't watch any movie. Lesson learned, always carry AirPods or headphones, whatever, with you. It is exactly 2 a.m. and now we're going to pick up our things. I don't think I've ever been at the airport this early or late, whichever one it really counts as. So obviously there are way fewer people here. It's really interesting, and like I said, I love airports, so I really don't care. We made it back home and we kind of got scammed by our taxi driver, but we're definitely not going to end on this note. This has to be one of my favorite vacations yet, and I can't believe that we essentially explored the entire state of Colorado. I remember the first day we landed, I was overwhelmed by the natural beauty of all the landscapes because I had never seen anything like it. Looking back at this footage, I think I would still do it all over again. Thanks for joining me on my journey, and I can't wait for more in the future. See you soon!